Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Sperbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. So I'm going to be doing a look at the chart of Ghislaine Maxwell, who is, they're doing jury selection for her trial. And she has been in prison for, I think, 16 months. And in Brooklyn, which is the same prison that Jeffrey Epstein was killed / committed suicide / is still alive, whichever one you believe. That's where it was. And she has it has been a difficult stay in that prison, for a number of reasons, because, I'm sure she never thought she'd find herself in prison. And that's not the lifestyle that she was used to, at least not, her actual lifestyle. I'm sure there was some sort of emotional imprisonment for this woman all her life. But so they're doing the jury selection now. So I thought we could look at her chart because we actually have a accurate birth time on her. And so we can time things pretty well when you have an accurate birth time. But before I get to that, I don't have a cool graphic like Cash Peters, but Correction Corner. The last time that I did something like this was on the trial for Rittenhouse and for the trial for the killers of Ahmaud Arbery. And a couple of things that were brought up to my attention, which I will answer it. Somebody said that, not to call it, or that it's not Ahmaud Arbery's trial. And I agree. And of course, that's a technicality that I don't understand, because I'm not a lawyer. So, but I agree with you. But it is the whole thing is based around this, the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, and that's why his name gets connected, of course, to that. So if anyone was, it's a good point, just a good point. And I was also told that Kyle Rittenhouse's mother did not drive him across state lines with the gun. But I don't have the whole story. And I did mention that I didn't have the whole story, and it wasn't really about, the reading was not about necessarily the facts of the story when it came to his trial. It was just a look into his numerology and his chart, and where we might see those tendencies or challenges or such. So it wasn't really a reading about the trial and the details of that trial. And I know that most of the people who actually listen to the whole thing know that, and they're interested in my perspective on it. And the people who made the comments about me getting the facts of the case wrong and Kyle is innocent and who are you, how dare you say his mother drove him over the state line, whatever, are people that weren't really interested in what I was trying to convey in the reading. So, I just thought I'd mention that because it was kind of a problem on my end. Those things were kind of mistakes. But again, it wasn't really about that. So, and a lot of that stuff that I got wrong was personal opinion stuff, which, we all have. So we have to admit that, right? So let's take a look at Ghislaine. I have no idea how to say her name. I try my best, but if I've done anything on her previously, I probably said her name different 3 times. So, and we don't want to call her Jizzy because that would be terrible. Ms. Maxwell. Let's call her Ms. Maxwell. So let's take a look at her chart. And it's very interesting. So let me share my screen with you. And we'll see right away that she has some pretty big things coming her way. Now, this is her chart. She was born December 25th, 1961, 3:20 p.m. in Maison Lafitte, France. I have no idea if I said that right, and I'll probably have a correction corner next week as well. So she was the daughter, the youngest, I believe, of a media magnate. Um, I can't think of his first name, Mr. Maxwell. We'll call him Mr. Maxwell. And who ended up just being a criminal and a fake and this, that, and the other thing, and they lost all their money, and he like stole everybody's pensions or something like that. It was terrible, terrible thing. And she went from being, you know, living that rich lifestyle to, you know, destitute. And I think it was right around that time she might have met Jeffrey Epstein. Now, again, you can correct me on the facts there if you like. So let's take a look at her chart and see what we can see. Now, first of all, she is a Capricorn, and she has, not only does she have her sun in Capricorn, but she has her Mars in Capricorn, her Mercury in Capricorn as well, and lastly, her Saturn in Capricorn. So the ruler of her Capricorn planets, all her Capricorn, her Sun, her Mars, her Mercury gets disposited to that Saturn in Capricorn. So Saturn in Capricorn is in charge here, right? As far as her chart is concerned, she's a Gemini rising. Now, we could say that a Gemini rising has the ability to show two different faces, couldn't we? And she certainly was able to do that as the bon vivant, or I might have used that wrong. You know, what do you call those? It's not a debutante, socialite, beautiful, smart, young, you know, and had that youngness about her for a long time. I mean, I mean, perhaps before she went to prison, she was quite an attractive woman, right? So she had that, and then she had that dark side. You know, so there's that double sort of that split personality almost with the Gemini ascendant. So having a Gemini ascendant would mean that the ruler of her entire chart is her Mercury, and she has Mercury in Capricorn, and that is disposited by Saturn in Capricorn. So there's a lot of influence here through Saturn, through the father. Now, she also has a lot of planets in the 8th house. In my experience, when I see a lot of 8th house planets, there's always a little bit of a question of problems with boundaries, and whether you were perpetrated against or whether you were the perpetrator. There's experience with that here in the 8th house. Now, just something that I don't know if any of the books say that, but and usually usually it's a family dynamic, not always, but it's usually some sort of family dynamic, because the 8th house is a house of marriage, and so it is intimate relationships, right? So we also have somebody with a moon in Leo, So she's got that Capricorn sun and the Leo moon. Now, the Capricorn is the boss and Leo is the leader. And so this is somebody with great leadership potential. But Leo and Capricorn are actually signs that don't necessarily get along with each other, even though there's this. So there's always this sort of push-pull with those two, I think, between how how to utilize leadership in a positive way without bullying somebody. right? So there's that energy there, but it's also can be quite persuasive. And with Mercury in the eighth house, we know that this is somebody who is very much attuned to uh, insecurity and insecurity. So perhaps she was able to see the insecurity in the girls. And on some level, perhaps she felt like, and she said this, that she made their lives better by introducing them to powerful men and powerful people, and an ability to, go places and see places they would never have seen, simply for the permission, right, for somebody to touch them, um, and and have sex with them. So that, of course, is um, not the thinking of a normal person, or not the thinking of somebody who has a healthy boundary around um, sex and power, and this Capricorn energy of power over. Capricorn in itself is not to say that people with Capricorn or heavy Capricorn are power over kind of people. What Capricorn understands is the structures of power, and the levers of power. And so you do not necessarily, you can utilize those levers to get the best out of people, as opposed to using those levers of power to bring out the worst in people, or to make people feel um, like they have no power, powerless. Now, the interesting thing about that is that now we have um, Saturn, Pluto, going to make 3 conjunctions to her Saturn. And she has her Saturn is close to the United States Saturn, so a degree away. And while she's not, she's not an American, or actually she could be an American, I don't know. She's English. I don't know if she like did the citizenship thing or what. She certainly lived in America, and certainly worked with Jeffrey Epstein in Florida and New York, and I don't know, New Mexico, all the other places, right? And then the island. So Pluto is an energy that you cannot fight. You can only surrender. You can only surrender. So somebody with a Saturn in Capricorn, especially high in that 9th house, there's a righteousness to that. There's a sense of, I'm in charge. I'm the boss. I'm the one pressing the levers of power. And that 9th house, brings that sort of righteous energy to it, this almost religiosity of surety, that you are sure that you know what you're doing. So this is somebody who's very sure of themselves in a way, and very much successful. So I think whatever she had chosen to purvey, she would have been successful. Unfortunately, she decided to purvey in child trafficking. So we do have somebody who is ripe for a comeuppance. And through that, it's very possible with Pluto and Capricorn, some exposure of people who are in places of power, that she has the skinny on. She could wield her power that way if she chose. It would probably cost her her life, but I'm not sure she has much life left in her anyway, if Pluto's done with her. What else is going on here? Well, something else in her chart that I find very interesting is the exact, to the minute, exact can be, Neptune opposite Ceres. Ceres is a mother goddess energy. She's a nurturer. She's a mother who understands what it is to lose. She understands grief. It's in Taurus, in that 12th house. And I think that the realization that her father was a fraud was very difficult for her. And the loss of money because of Taurus, and the sense that it came out of nowhere, 12th house. Now, I would not necessarily read that for everybody the same way, but for her, it kind of makes sense. The interesting thing is right now, Uranus it's a little past that, but it's right around that degree. And actually, let's take a look, right? Well, let me do this because, oh, can I do that? Yes, I can. I think I can. Yeah, okay. So let's take a look at her with today's planets, just to kind of see where everything's sitting right now. So here's her, and here's today's planets. So we have Ghislaine here again. Well, this is interesting. You know, she has this, oh, okay, close. Yeah. So Uranus is right on that series. So, oh, and Mars is right on the Neptune. So, so this is the potential. This is more potential for things to be uncovered. And what she's uncovering could be people of great wealth. People of great wealth. So, wow. So, okay, I hadn't actually looked at this before I got on with you guys. So, it's stunning for me as well. So here's Pluto, right? And Pluto will be going over her Saturn 3 times. And you know how I know? Because my Saturn's at 28 degrees. So, you know, and everybody born in 1961, Saturn is undergoing Pluto on their Saturn. Transformation of the structures, right? And so for her, there's a transformation of the structures of her power. There can also be a transformation within her belief system because she has Saturn in the 9th house, which is your belief system. And when you have Saturn in Capricorn in the 9th house, you could get your belief system from your father. And now Pluto is on there. And, you know, Pluto is about the evolution of the soul. And Pluto is about our evolving consciousness. And this could be an opportunity for her to evolve in a direction where she, instead of bringing more darkness onto the planet, she could actually bring some light by bringing light to those people in power who are corrupt. And that's why she probably wouldn't live very long after that, because they would make sure that she was killed. That's my feeling. Made possible, right, by the Saturn moving over that 10th house cusp, the most public part sitting on her Jupiter. And Jupiter is the truth, or Jupiter can be the truth. So there's that. And then we have Saturn going on to her south node, if she makes it that far, right? And that's really sort of paying for the past. And there's a real paying for the past in that energy. So these, and paying for the past. If you've done good deeds, then good things happen to you. If you've been responsible and a good person, and to harm none and all of this stuff, then when Saturn goes over that south node, perhaps it is, you're being rewarded for your past, everything, up to that point. So she doesn't really have much to look forward to, save for knowing that, perhaps she did a good thing. If she does that, now that would be an amazing thing to see. And would blow the roof off a lot of things. We would be in a giant kerfuffle for sure. So this is going to be very interesting to see. Now, the other day when I looked at Kyle Rittenhouse's chart, we didn't have actually an accurate birth time on him. Venus was all over his chart, being super nice to his chart, and I knew that he would probably get off for he would not be found guilty because of that. So when we get closer to the time when the trial starts and the process of that, we can make maybe a better guess on these things. It really kind of depends on what it is that she wants, that she's willing to heal, I think. What is her soul willing to heal in this lifetime? And she does have her soul, Pluto, in Virgo, like everyone born in the 60s, really. And a little bit in the 50s, and a little bit in the 70s, I think, 70 maybe. When Pluto was in Virgo. And, Pluto in Virgo wants to be of service. That's what Pluto in Virgo wants, deepest desire. And because it's in her fourth house, it can be service to her family. I think that let's see let me just see what's happening. Well, Uranus is trining her Pluto. So that could sort of move forward that evolution. Okay, let me just see here if anything else is. We do have Venus at this time making a trine to Pluto, but Venus moves very quickly. So it's not the same thing as Uranus trining Pluto. That's more of a like, it's the time for you to evolve and learn. But we are going to have Capricorn retrograde in Capricorn. We're going to have Venus retrograde in Capricorn. And she has a Venus in Sag. So there's difference there. It's on the galactic center, which is interesting. But that 8th house, Venus is going to be going back, and let's see, actually back between the 9th and the 8th house. And it goes retrograde on the 19th of December and is retrograde for 40 days. So into February. And then it's out of the sign of Capricorn by the beginning of March. But it spends a lot, March 3rd, I think. It spends a lot of time in Capricorn. And this is, Venus is the feminine, Capricorn is the patriarchy. How does a woman, work? How does a woman maintain her power? What does she need to do in the patriarchy? That could come up. What did she need to do to fit and to be taken care of by men, perhaps her father or Epstein, or maybe that's not really what it was about. Maybe she was the brains. We don't really know what's going on, but I think we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn a lot from this. And it's going to be very interesting. Um, Personally, I think she's going to be held all kinds of responsible. Well, certain people, even though they go with the intention of knocking some heads together and they ended up killing people, um, they're not going to be held responsible, because they were trying to save people. And maybe in her way, she was trying to save people too, give women who wouldn't have had the opportunity an opportunity. And, maybe trading your body for it wasn't a big deal to her. Maybe she had to do that. I don't know. But we're going to learn a lot about this. And it's going to be a real learning moment and a real teaching moment for both the understanding of the feminine and what it is to be a woman in a man's world and be successful. And the price of that to her, to women in general, and the women that she put on the path to perdition, perhaps. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I just thought we'd take a quick look and see what it showed. Now, I haven't actually done her numbers, but I'm curious to at least do her path of life. So let me grab a pen here. And so she's December 25th. And that's 61, so that's a 17. So that's 4. 7, 7 is 14. 2, 4, 5, 54, 9. So her path of life is a 54-9 vibration, which is the Knight of Swords, the Page of Swords in the tarot. And she kind of has that Page of Swords energy, I think. Wielding a sword that's too big for her, wielding power that she's not mature enough to handle. Having to listen to the whispers, looking behind her back in case somebody's going to stab her in the back, or perhaps a spy in the camp, right? The storm clouds in the back. Very much, in a way, her vibration. This is a Gemini vibration, Page of Swords. It's actually the last decan of Gemini, of which she doesn't have anything, but she does have that Gemini ascendant. Now let's take a look at her shadow. I may have actually done a numerology and Kabbalah on Ms. Maxwell. I can't remember. You can just look you can search everything's on YouTube, so you can search that if you want. I might search it myself to see if I've done it, but so let's see, 10, 15, 24. I'm just gonna check her okay, that's 9, 12, 19, 24. So she's a 48. I'm just gonna do her shadow. 48 and 25. 8 and 5 is 3. Oh, that's right. Her shadow is a 71, 3. I think I have done her before. You know how I said that her father losing his money was very traumatic for her. This is her shadow. Now let me pull it out for you. So this is where she has her block. This is where she has her most fear. This is where the light can't come in. Okay, come on. I must have passed it up. Let me look again. I do this all the time with my clients too. Okay. This is her shadow. Destitution. That series opposite Neptune with Uranus sitting on top of it right now. And Ceres on her ascendant. It is retrograde right now, so I don't know when it's going to go back over her ascendant. But Ceres also has a reaping quality, right? She's the sickle. She reaps the wheat from the fields to feed the people, to nourish us. And perhaps on some level, this will nourish our understanding of the problems that women face, that young girls face, when you're in a position of less power. And one of the things that she's going to experience, I think, when Pluto sits on that Saturn, is a loss of control and a loss of power at the depths of her soul. As a lesson, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I think that's what I want to say. So if I had any mistakes in my meanderings, you can mention them if you want, and I'll have a correction corner next time. But I thought it was interesting. I thought this was an interesting look at Ms. Maxwell. And I hope you enjoyed it. So I do this for people, right? Oh, let me tell you, I wanted to one more thing. I'm going to be doing on December 1st, I'm going to be doing a 90-minute talk on 2022 through my friend's organization, the Metaphysical Network. And I will leave a link below. It's going to be from 7 to 9, I believe. And on the 1st of December, Eastern time, it's Eastern time. And it's $20. So it's very reasonable. And so if you want to join us, and I'll be talking about the vibrations of 2020 and a couple of the big astrological things that are happening in 2020 that are worth mentioning. So if you're interested in seeing what I have to say about that, you can join us. And I believe you can join us, and I believe she's going to be, even if you don't make it, you'll still get the video. So, all right. All right, that's what I want to say. Have yourself a great day. Like, subscribe. Much love to you. Mwah. I love you guys. Let me give you a big kiss. Oh, now you can't see me. Well, it's okay. All right, everyone. Much love. Namaste.